There are moments in life when everything feels paused, as if the universe is holding its breath. You feel the ache of delay, not because you're lazy, not because you're lost, but because something sacred has been unspoken. The heart knows what it wants, the soul has already seen the vision, but the command, the sacred decree, was never released. This is where most people unknowingly stay for years, hovering in the space between desire and demonstration, not because they're unworthy, but because they never understood the law of the word. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, man must prepare for the thing he has asked for, though he sees no sign of it. But how do you prepare? You begin with the one thing most never do. You speak, not casually, not fearfully, not conditionally. You speak with spiritual authority. You declare with the knowing that your words are not whispers in the void. They are instructions to the invisible. Blueprints for the divine architect. Commands sent to the sacred storehouse of all good. When the word is not spoken, the blessing cannot locate you. When the tongue remains tied by doubt, heaven waits in silence. Divine timing is not delay. It is preparation waiting on participation. And participation begins with the sentence, you never said. The law of the word is clear. Nothing moves until you move it with the vibration of speech. Words are not mere sound. They are spiritual architecture, invisible scaffolding that holds the shape of the life you are calling in. There are people listening now who have carried dreams for decades, not because the dream was wrong, but because the decree was missing. You asked, but you did not command. You hoped, but you did not align. You waited, but you never prepared the way with the word. Let this be your awakening. Let this moment be sacred. There is no delay in the divine mind. Delay lives only in the absence of alignment. And alignment begins in the mouth. Speak now what your soul has always known. Say it aloud, not for volume, but for vibration. Declare not for others to hear, but for heaven to respond. Let these words become your sentence. I now claim my divine inheritance. What is mine by spiritual right appears swiftly, with ease, and in perfect timing. I do not beg, I declare, I do not wait, I prepare. Feel that. Feel how the atmosphere shifts when you stop explaining and start declaring. The divine orchestra tunes itself to your command. The gates that once felt closed swing open to the tone of your tongue. This is not magic. It is metaphysical law. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on your voice. The word is your spiritual permission slip. It signals the sacred clock that now is the hour. There is a story the soul writes before it arrives on earth, a blueprint buried deep in your being, and the sentence you have not said is the key to unlocking it. Your wealth, your healing, your calling, all orbiting around the orbit of your spoken word. Don't whisper your future. Don't question your calling. Don't negotiate with the shadows of doubt. Stand in the full authority of divine law. Look delay in the eye and say, you are dismissed. I walk now in divine timing. I speak now with creative power. I align now with the infinite storehouse of all that is good. The law of restoration is already in motion. What felt lost is not gone. It is merely awaiting reactivation through the word. The restoration of time, opportunity, love, finances, purpose, it all bends toward the one who speaks in alignment. And now, you are that one. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, take this moment to close your eyes. Visualize the sentence as a golden thread tying heaven to earth. See your words leaving your mouth and becoming light, moving into the unseen, touching the substance of the formless. Say to yourself, I restore the years by releasing the word. I speak, and so it is. I command, and so it appears. This is your realignment. This is your return to divine authority. This is the day heaven stopped waiting because you finally spoke. And now, all things move. Most people aren't waiting on God. They're waiting on their own permission. They stand before the doors of their desires with keys in their pocket, not knowing the door responds not to effort, but to utterance. They dream in silence. They hope without declaration. They ache with visions that were never spoken into form, and so they wait. But it's not divine delay. It's the cost of an unspoken word. Picture it, a sealed letter, written in your own hand, addressed to destiny, but never sent. Its truth never touched the air. Its power never stirred the wind. It remains locked in the drawer of fear, its ink drying into forgetfulness. This is how most people live, not empty, but overflowing with unexpressed power. They carry wisdom they never speak. They hold love they never offer. They envision wealth they never claim. And all of it remains suspended in the invisible realm, untouched by the law that requires the word to activate the way. There are blessings circling you right now, but they have no landing place, because the words were never spoken. Heaven is not hard of hearing. It is waiting for alignment. And alignment begins with voice. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Your word is your wand. But if the wand is never raised, the magic stays asleep." The moment you silence your spiritual authority, you make silent agreements with lack, with regret, with delay, a locked door without a keyhole, a divine clock with no hands. These are the symbols of a life where words were withheld, not because you lacked faith, but because you lacked instruction. You were taught to be patient, but not to prepare. You were told to wait on God, but not to speak like God. The law does not respond to your feelings, it responds to your decree. And so you wait, unaware that time is not your issue. Silence is. Every dream you ever carried was waiting for a sentence, not a paragraph, not a speech, just one sentence. I am ready now. Divine supply flows through me. I no longer serve limitation. I allow the miracle to find me. But instead of those words, many chose hesitation. They asked the world to go first. They waited for proof before proclaiming truth. And so their life became a rehearsal of postponement, a choreography of missed openings, a silent film of what could have been. This is not punishment. It's a spiritual law. And like every divine law, it waits for cooperation. There are chapters of your story that never unfolded, not because they weren't written in heaven, but because your voice never unlocked them on earth. You are not powerless. You are paused between what you know and what you've never dared to speak. So let us pause together now. Still, your mind. Listen inward. Can you hear it? The sentence you have always known but never dared to declare. It's faint at first, like a whisper, behind your ribs, but it grows stronger as you pay attention. It carries the weight of your freedom. One sentence, that's all. One sentence is the turning of the key. One sentence is the breath of the divine through your own lips. One sentence is the unsealing of the letter, the release of permission, the ignition of your divine timing. Let this be your moment of holy honesty. What haven't you said? What have you swallowed out of fear? What divine declaration have you kept under your tongue like a secret too sacred to reveal? It's time. You don't have to scream it. You don't have to convince anyone, but you must speak it. The law is clear. The power is in the word. So say it with me now, soul to soul. I now release the sentence I was born to say. I break the silence that delayed my blessing. My word is divine law, and it sets all things in motion. I speak, and I am heard. Let the vibration ripple. Let your atmosphere shift. Let your mind bow to the sound of spiritual clarity. You are not behind. You were just mute. But now, your voice is back. And with that voice, doors will open. Paths will clear. Hearts will heal. Supply will flow, because the word has been spoken. And heaven never forgets a sound aligned with truth. The cost of an unspoken word was delay. But the return of your voice is redemption. So speak. Speak like you were always meant to. Speak like heaven is listening because it is. And as your sentence echoes, the next gate opens. There is a moment before miracles, a breath before breakthroughs, a stillness so sacred it waits on one thing only: your voice. Florence Scovel Shinn once declared, man must make the first move, not the world, not fate, not even God, because spirit, in its infinite wisdom, has already moved. It already said yes. Now it waits for you to say the word. This is the law of the word, not the law of thought, not the law of hoping, but the law that governs movement in the invisible realm. It is not enough to silently wish. It is not enough to merely visualize. Creation begins the moment your word meets vibration. When you speak, you sculpt the unseen. When you declare, you ignite the divine blueprint. Without that vibration, nothing moves. The ancient prophets knew this. They called it the creative command. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Why? Because every sentence holds seed, every declaration births direction, every phrase pulses with power. Imagine an orchestra. The violins are ready, the cellos waiting, the flutes holding their breath. But nothing happens until the conductor raises their hand. Without that motion, no sound. Without that signal, no movement. You are the conductor of your spiritual symphony, and the baton you raise is your voice. This is why silence can be sacred and dangerous. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of avoidance. So many souls sit beside unopened gates, not because they were denied, but because they never knocked. So many hearts ache beside still waters, not because the tide refused them, but because they never called it forth. The law responds to spoken vibration, not just intention, not just desire, but verbal alignment. When your words match the vision, heaven opens. When your voice aligns with truth, the earth moves. My voice activates divine power. Say it, don't whisper it, declare it, because, when you speak from the altar of truth, the universe must obey. This is not superstition, it is spiritual law, the law of the word. It overrides fear, it reorders delay, it dissolves resistance. You have not because you ask not. You remain stuck because you speak. You say, I'm trying instead of it is done. You say, I hope instead of I declare. But now you rise. Now you speak. Your voice is not ordinary. It is the echo of divine intelligence flowing through flesh. It is the command, center of your reality. Every time you speak with authority, angels listen. The fabric of circumstance shifts. The invisible bows to your belief. Pause now, breathe, and reflect. What have you avoided declaring out loud? What desire have you buried in mental rehearsal, but never sent into the field of creation? What truth aches in your chest, waiting for the courage of your tongue? Write it, feel it, speak it. Journaling prompt. What powerful truth have I delayed speaking into existence? Let your answer come like a confession from the soul. Let it be sacred, let it be real, and then say it. No more rehearsing defeat in your mind. No more hiding behind what ifs. No more letting fear mute the miracle. Your voice is not a whisper in the dark. It is the key to the locked door. It is the sound that summons change. It is the match that lights the fire. Spirit waits not on time, not on conditions, not on signs. It waits on you. So speak. Speak life. Speak love. Speak wealth. Speak healing. Speak freedom. Speak as if heaven already said yes because it did. And when you do, the divine orchestra will rise. The instruments will sound. The unseen will move. And what once felt delayed will arrive with divine precision. The conductor has stepped onto the stage. The baton is in your hand. The silence is waiting. Now say the word. There's a quiet ache that settles in the soul when you believe you're too late to start again, too late to be chosen, too late to fulfill what once stirred so loudly in your spirit. And yet, this is the lie the world taught you, not spirit. Not truth. You see, spirit does not use clocks like man. It does not rush. It does not stall. It does not measure worth in hours or decades. It flows in rhythm, not panic. It aligns by vibration, not deadlines. This is the law of divine timing. A sacred law that renders regret powerless and restores what was thought lost. Spirit does not run out of time. Only the ego does. Only the wounded mind believes it missed its moment. But your soul knows better. Your soul remembers the covenant, the silent promise whispered before birth that nothing meant for you shall ever pass you by. Imagine a divine clock. It does not tick like the ones on your wall. It chimes only when truth is spoken. It moves only when the heart is ready. And if you haven't heard it yet, it is not because you're late. It is because spirit is still preparing the echo. But let's speak honestly now. There are days you feel behind, days shame sits heavy on your chest. Days you replay the decisions, the detours, the doubts. I should have started sooner. I wasted too many years. I missed it. And those thoughts, they build a prison. But you were never meant to live in time's shadow. You were meant to walk in divine light. So today, we dissolve that shadow. Not with force, not with denial, but with the light of truth. The truth that what looks like delay is often preparation. That detours weren't punishment, they were protection. That the no was not rejection, it was redirection. Say this to yourself now. Let it land deeper than your fear. What I call delay, heaven calls preparation. Feel how that reframe untangles the tight knots in your chest. Let it replace your internal scolding with sacred understanding. Close your eyes for a moment. Let your breath become your bridge. And now see it. A divine calendar stretched across the heavens. No dates, no deadlines, just moments marked in light. Moments that shimmer only when your voice calls them forward. Visualize yourself speaking, not begging, not pleading, but declaring, what is mine is still mine. I speak, and time returns. Watch as the calendar realigns. Watch as mist seasons bloom again. Watch as doors you thought were closed begin to glow with golden outlines. They were never locked. They were never lost. They were simply waiting for your voice. You do not need to go back in time. You need only return to alignment. Because in divine timing, restoration is real. The lost years are never truly lost. They become soil. They become roots. They become the sacred ground upon which your greatest season is now being built. You are not too old. It is not too late. You did not miss your calling. Your delay does not disqualify your destiny. It deepens it. It adds weight to your words. It expands your capacity to carry the blessing when it comes. So speak this again. Let it be a decree, not just a hope. What is mine is still mine. I speak, and time returns. You are not running out of time. You are stepping into divine alignment. The moment you speak, the gears shift. The energy moves, and the gate that felt silent for years swings open with the sound of perfect timing. Your miracle has not passed you. It has only been waiting for the version of you that is ready to receive it. You are not late. You are right on time. Because time, beloved, is waiting on your voice. And now you speak. Now you rise. There is a silence that heals. And there is a silence that steals. One is sacred stillness. The other, a silent contract with fear. Most don't know the difference, but your soul does. When you do not speak, you do not command. And when you do not command, you agree to delay by default. This is the invisible pact so many have signed, with their silence, not realizing that in the realm of spirit, every unsaid truth becomes a door that never opens. Every withheld decree is a river that never flows. Silence, when born of reverence, is holy. But silence, when born of fear, becomes a shadow. A shadow that blocks the divine light from reaching the seed of your desire. It looks harmless. It even sounds humble. But it is the cloak of spiritual passivity. You've heard these whispers inside your own mind. Maybe I'm being greedy. Maybe it wasn't meant for me. Maybe God has something else in mind. But let's call it what it truly is. Hesitation wrapped in false humility. Fear dressed in spiritual language. Because real humility does not deny the desire. It honors it. Real surrender does not silence the soul. It aligns it. And your voice, your sacred, divine voice, is not a luxury. It is a lawgiver. It was given to you to call things into being. Florence Scovel Shinn said it plainly. Your word is your wand, not your silence, not your patience, not even your good intentions. Your word, because spirit responds to speech, not silence. 2. Speak nothing is to command nothing. And in the spiritual realm, nothing commanded is nothing received. This is not cruelty. This is law. That you were not born to tiptoe around your destiny. You were not created to wait for permission to ask for what already has your name on it. You were designed to declare, to decree, to direct the current of your life by the vibration of your voice. Anything less is spiritual submission to delay. Silence is not stillness. It is stagnation when rooted in fear. It is the soul putting down its sword and pretending that surrender is safer than faith. But faith is not silent. Faith speaks. Faith declares what it cannot yet see. Faith opens its mouth before the evidence shows up. So, let me ask you gently, but truthfully, what have you allowed to pause because you chose not to speak? What healing, what relationship, what idea, what wealth, what path, what divine movement did you unknowingly counsel by remaining quiet when the universe waited for your command? It is not too late. You can reopen the gate, but you must speak now. Speak not with desperation. Speak with dominion. Speak like the child of the Most High, that you are not begging, not hoping, but commanding. Try this sacred reframe. Silence is not spiritual stillness. It is spiritual submission. Let that truth break the false peace you've made with delay. Let it awaken the warrior within the whisperer. Let it call your voice back to the throne it once ruled from. Now close your eyes, breathe slowly, and picture all the things you paused with your silence. They're still waiting, not gone. Not lost, just paused, hovering in the unseen, waiting for your authority to wake them. And now, speak, even just a whisper, even just a sentence. Let it begin again. Let it rise from the center of your soul and cut through every shadow your silence ever built. Say this out loud. Let your voice echo through the invisible. I revoke every silent contract. My word is my wand. I speak, and my life obeys. This is where you turn the tide. Not by doing more, but by saying what you should have said all along, with clarity, with courage, with certainty. The gates of your next season are voice activated. The blessings you thought had passed you are voice sensitive. And heaven is waiting, not on time, not on circumstances, but on sound. Let your silence end here. Let your word rise now, because your next breakthrough is waiting for the sound of your command. There are words that inspire, and there are words that rearrange reality. Some sentences don't just change your mind, they change your timeline. There is a spiritual decree that carries the frequency of redirection, the vibration of restoration, the rhythm of rapid return. It is not a wish, it is not a mantra, it is a divine order, and when spoken with belief, it bends the very path beneath your feet. Say it now, slowly, sacredly, as if heaven is listening, because it is. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. Let it move through your breath like wind through a field of wheat. Let it become a current in your bloodstream, not rushed, not robotic, but as a command from the throne room of your being. Close your eyes and speak it one phrase per breath. Feel the shift inside your cells. Feel timelines rearranging in the unseen. Nothing is lost in spirit. This is the law of restoration. What seemed stolen was never lost. What slipped through your fingers still lives in the invisible. It is not gone. It is simply waiting in divine escrow, stored in the warehouse of spirit until your soul is ready to receive again. This law declares that no love, no opportunity, no wealth, no time was ever wasted. It was transformed. And now, it returns. I am now divinely redirected. This is the law of substitution. When one door closes, another doesn't just open. A better one is already waiting. When the thing you wanted didn't arrive, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. The universe does not take, it refines. You are not being denied, you are being realigned. This law shifts your perspective from loss to upgrade, from confusion to clarity, from why me, to thank you for protecting what I couldn't yet see. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. This is the law of non-resistance. You no longer push, you no longer strive, you no longer block your blessings with desperation. You become the river that flows instead of the dam that resists. You move in rhythm with divine timing, no longer chasing, no longer waiting, only receiving. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that no man is your enemy, no man is your friend, every man is your teacher. So when delays come, they come to teach. When redirections come, they come to evolve. And when what is yours returns, it comes with more than you ever asked for. Let's return to the sentence, this time with the reverence of a soul who knows its power. Breathe and speak. Nothing is lost in spirit. See the roots of old dreams reconnecting under the soil. See what you thought was overgrowing again from a deeper place. See it reversing, restoring, returning. I am now divinely redirected. See the detours aligning. See the losses transforming into breakthroughs. See the path you couldn't find rising to meet your feet. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. See rivers turning their course toward you. See doors opening without effort. See blessings running to catch up with you, because they recognize your voice. This sentence is not just language. It is a code, a divine activation key, a sacred spell, written in truth. Say it again, eyes closed, heart open, one phrase per breath. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. Let these words write themselves into your being. Let them sit in the marrow of your bones. Let them become the background music of your mind. Because when you shift your language, you shift your life. And when you speak like this, the universe rearranges to match your frequency. Speak no more of what you missed. Speak no more of what was taken. You are not a victim of delay. You are the director of divine rerouting. Affirm this now, with certainty, with presence, with spiritual authority. I do not chase, I command. This is your moment to realign with the timeline you thought had passed you. It hasn't. It's arriving, swiftly, unstoppably, and it knows your name. Now stay in this vibration, because the next revelation will lift you even higher. There is a sacred technology older than time itself. It is not made of machines or wires. It does not need temples, ceremonies, or rituals. It only needs your voice. The moment you speak, spirit listens. The moment you declare, the invisible aligns. The moment you command, the path clears. This is the law of spoken demonstration. Your word is not noise. It is not small. It is not casual. It is the signal that sets angels in motion. It is the ignition key to the divine GPS already waiting for your direction. You are not stuck. You are silent. And silence does not move mountains. It does not rearrange destiny. It does not feed the future. Only the spoken word holds that power. Florence Scovel Shinn said, your word is your wand, not your worry, not your wishes, not your waiting. Your word, think of your soul's journey like a divine navigation system. It has your highest destination coded within it. But until you speak, until you command, it waits. It cannot reroute you until you press go. And that go is spoken, clear, bold, specific. Every spoken declaration becomes a recalibration. The second your mouth opens in faith, the universe shifts in your favor. There was once a woman who lived in quiet despair. She did everything right, worked hard, prayed, waited, but said nothing aloud. She believed that maybe being silent was more spiritual, more humble, less forceful. She thought, God knows my heart. I don't need to say anything. But the heart without voice is a sealed envelope. It never arrives. Years passed. Nothing changed. Until one morning, she broke. She went outside, barefoot on the grass, and whispered, I am not small. I am chosen. I am ready. And the whisper turned to a cry, then to a command. I command divine results. I speak alignment. I activate what is mine. 3 weeks later, doors opened that had been shut for years. Not because she begged, but because she finally spoke. To speak is to allow the divine to take form. To speak is to instruct energy. To speak is to write your reality in sound waves. This is why your command practice matters. It is not about being loud. It is about being clear, precise, daily, intentional. In the morning, say, this is the day of demonstration. Say it as the sun rises, as your feet touch the floor. Before you check your phone, let that sentence go first, so spirit can go ahead of you. In the afternoon, speak, my steps are divinely ordered. Say it when you feel confused, when the schedule changes, when you're unsure where to go next. This sentence reactivates your soul's compass. And in the evening, declare, all that is mine returns in perfect rhythm. Speak it when the day is done, when doubt creeps in, when you are tempted to question timing. Let your word wrap your night in trust. Affirm often, my word realigns the unseen. Because it does. Every time, there are realms moving on the sound of your sentence. Do not wait for proof before you speak. Speak, and proof will appear. Do not wait for confidence before you command. Command, and confidence will awaken. Do not wait for perfect feelings. Divine law responds to sound, not mood. Your voice is the match. Your word is the flame. Your faith is the fuel. Speak and spirit will move. Now, close your eyes, breathe deep, and speak this aloud with every fiber of faith. My word is law. I do not hope, I declare. I do not wait. I walk. I do not doubt. I decide. What is mine is moved into motion now. Feel how everything around you listens, how the winds pause, how your own body relaxes into the certainty. Because when you speak from truth, you do not need to yell. The universe is already tuned to your tone. There is no magic in waiting. There is only power in participating. So speak today as if spirit is writing down every word, because it is. Let this truth carry you gently into the next revelation, where the unseen becomes seen, where the spoken becomes substance, and where the divine flows wherever your voice leads it. Delay is not denial. It is not punishment. It is not rejection by the divine. Delay is spiritual hesitation. It is the pause between identity and authority. The space where your soul waits for you to remember who you are. You were never meant to beg. You were born to govern. That there is a hidden moment in every seeker's life, a quiet ache behind the words, why is nothing happening? An invisible grief that lingers when prayers seem unanswered. But the delay is not against you. It is waiting for you. Waiting for your dominion to return. Waiting for your decree. Imagine a king robed, crowned, and chosen, yet he forgets his royalty. He walks the halls of his own palace, asking for permission, hoping someone will grant him what is already his. His servants wait. The court listens. But until he speaks, nothing moves. Because kings do not receive by request. They receive by command. And so do you. The universe is not ignoring you. It is responding to your tone, to your certainty, to your inner throne. Every delay you've experienced was never meant to punish. It was the soul's whisper. Rise to the level of your word. You were not born to linger in lack. You were born to legislate divine law on earth. This is your reversal. No longer asking, when will it happen? Now asking, what have I refused to declare? Because what you don't decree, you delay. What you fear to speak, you postpone. What you avoid affirming, you unconsciously repel. But here now, you remember. You remember, the silent gate of destiny responds to the spoken word. You remember that time bends to those who speak with heaven's tone. You remember your own divine name. Visualize this. You stand upon a mountaintop. The sky is open. The clouds drift like silent messengers. You raise your voice, not in desperation, but in power. You speak into the wind. You say, I am no longer at the mercy of delay. I command divine order. I realign with my inheritance. And as you speak, the clouds begin to shift. Not because of weather, but because of dominion. That this is the law. This is your legacy. The soul that commands becomes the soul that receives. Do not let silence shape your seasons. Write your decree. Write it as though the heavens depend on it, because they do. Speak it aloud 3 times daily. Morning, midday, night. Let your words reshape the rhythm of your reality. Here is your spiritual tool. Write something like this, personal, powerful, precise. I decree I am aligned with divine wealth. My path is clear. My time is now. Then speak it, not as a hope, as a law, not with fear, with finality. This is not wishcraft. This is wordcraft, the sacred act of shaping your world through declaration. And every time you declare, the universe reorders itself to obey. Affirm with power, I no longer wait, I initiate. Let those words melt every remnant of doubt. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are remembering, and the moment remembrance touches your voice, dominion returns. You were not born to chase signs. You were born to send signals. You were not created to fear delay. You were created to dissolve it. Even now, the divine orchestra awaits your cue. Even now, timelines are trembling. Even now, the unseen is gathering its resources around your decree. So speak. Stand tall. Lift your voice like the crown it is. Command from love. Declare from truth. Initiate your season. Because when dominion awakens in you, delay has no place left to hide. And from this moment forward, your life will no longer be shaped by waiting. It will be shaped by your word. Time is not your enemy. It is your instrument, a sacred thread in the divine loom, waiting for you to weave it differently. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us the law of substitution, that when the mind insists on replaying regret, you can interrupt the spiral. You can replace the shadow with light, the failure with meaning, the pain with purpose. This isn't denial, it's divine override, a sacred exchange of illusions for truth. You were never late. You were never lost. You were learning how to reweave. Imagine your life as a great tapestry, not woven from the outer rim like the world teaches, but rewoven from the center, from the place where spirit speaks, where time no longer flows in a straight line, but folds in on itself like silk. When your soul reclaims authority, years compress, delay dissolves, and destiny returns to its divine rhythm. You do not need to revisit every mistake to heal it. You only need to realign with the version of you that never forgot the truth. One who never stopped trusting. The one who knew the journey was never broken, only being edited. Spirit doesn't rewind time. It redeems it. It folds decades into days. Tears into testimony. The lost into luminous gold. Breathe. Close your eyes. Visualize every regret you've held like a chain. Now see those same regrets melt and reshape under your feet. One by one, they become golden stepping stones, not detours, but sacred platforms. They lift you higher with every breath. See yourself walking forward, not away from the past, but through it. Transformed by it, blessed because of it. Feel the tension unwind. You are not late, you are layered. You are luminous. Whispered this, quietly, but with conviction. My path is not broken, it is divinely edited. Say it again. This time with the authority of remembrance. My path is not broken, it is divinely edited. When you speak from alignment, the years obey. They realign like stars returning to their constellation. What once felt wasted becomes woven into purpose. What once delayed becomes sacred delay, because now, you are ready. This is spiritual substitution. Not just changing thoughts, but transmuting timelines, replacing grief with growth, shame with sovereignty, scarcity with sacred trust. No more saying, I should be further by now. Instead, say, I am exactly where the divine recalibrated me to begin, because when spirit folds time, you don't lose history. You inherit wisdom. You collapse the illusion of delay into the miracle of readiness. Let your prayer shift with this understanding. Not, God, give me back what I lost, but, God, show me how it was never lost at all. Affirm, the timeline of my life is not chaotic, it is curated. I am not out of place. I am in divine position. My life unfolds from the center, not from the rush. There is no competition in the divine sequence. There is only coherence. Only the soul remembering that divine timing is not a matter of speed, but alignment. You don't need more time. You need more truth. You don't need to start over. You need to see what's already unfolding. So stand in the present and reclaim the past, not by revisiting pain, but by reassigning it. You assign your timeline with your word. You don't wait for life to feel healed. You declare that it already is. Speak this over yourself. My life is a divine tapestry. Every thread is on purpose. The places I thought were ruins are sacred roots. What I feared was wasted. Spirit has already folded into wisdom. Time is not leaving you behind. It's waiting for your voice to lead. Realignment is not a leap. It's a return to the quiet certainty you once had as a child. That life bends toward your belief. That heaven always knew the way. When you rise in spiritual truth, timelines obey. Doors open not just in the world, but in the unseen corridors of destiny. And where there was once a long road, now appears a golden bridge. Let this be your daily vision. You, walking calmly, past regrets under your feet, glowing. Each one turned from a wound to a wonder. Each step guided not by time, but by truth. You walk with clarity, with grace, with the wisdom of a soul no longer chasing the clock, but dancing in rhythm with the divine dot. As you rise into this frequency of trust, we now move into the sacred conclusion where all the laws converge, and you become the embodiment of everything you've spoken, everything you've remembered, and everything you've now commanded into motion. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when knowledge must become rhythm, when truth must not only be known but practiced, but because spiritual power is not built in theory, it is sealed in repetition. It is grounded in the sacred rituals of ordinary moments. If your words are spells, your day is the altar, and every hour is a chance to realign your world. So today, we enter the temple of daily practice, not as a chore, but as a devotion, because the soul remembers what the mind forgets, and what you repeat with reverence becomes your reality. Let us begin with the 3x daily sentence ritual. It is simple, but do not mistake simplicity for weakness. Power is hidden in the smallest acts when the heart is present. Each day, at 3 sacred points, upon waking, at midday, and before rest, you will speak a decree that seals your field in divine alignment. Morning. Your eyes open to the world before touching your phone. Speak this. I command this day to serve divine purpose. Let it be the first vibration your body hears. Let your breath carry it like a trumpet across the unseen. Let your cells awaken under its instruction. Midday. When the momentum of life pulls you into its current, pause. Inhale. Place your hand on your heart. And speak. I am walking in rhythm with divine design. This sentence realigns you with the invisible map. It reminds your subconscious who's steering the wheel. It recalculates the divine GPS to bring you back to center. Evening, as the sun sets and your mind drifts into reflection, seal the day with this. Everything that was mine found me in perfect time. Say it not from lack, but from faith. Not from anxiety, but from closure. This is how you whisper peace into your nervous system. This is how you remind the night to finish what your word began. And now, let us add layers to your practice, because words are even more powerful when paired with the sacred elements. Take water. Water holds memory. It mirrors intention. Before your first sip in the morning, hold your glass in both hands and whisper a decree into it. It could be as simple as, today, I drink divine clarity. With this water, I activate overflow. Then drink with full presence. Let the vibration travel into your bloodstream. Let your inner world shift on contact. Next. The mirror, the silent witness of your private life. Instead of allowing it to reflect doubt or comparison, turn it into a portal. Take a marker. Write your sentence of power directly onto the mirror, where your eyes land first. It could be, I speak my world into order. Nothing spoken against me can stand. Read it aloud every time you see yourself. This is not vanity. This is spiritual reflection. Every glance becomes an echo. Every moment in front of the mirror becomes a micro-alignment. Now let us speak of breath. Each morning, before the noise of the world enters, gift yourself 3 minutes of sacred breathwork. Sit tall, inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6, and as you exhale, speak your decree aloud. Let it ride the breath like wind through a canyon. Let your word become the breath of your day. This anchors your command into the body, because a decree spoken from breath is heard deeper than a thought. Finally, your journal, make it your altar of integration. Ask yourself nightly, where have I reclaimed power through speech today? Did I counsel a fear-based story? Did I speak life into a friend? Did I refuse to repeat limitation? Even one moment counts. Document it, celebrate it, seal it in ink, because your journal becomes your proof, and your proof becomes your belief, and belief, spoken, becomes your world. Now let us end with this final decree, not just as words, but as a vibration. As a law. As a declaration from the throne of your own spirit. I speak my world into order. Say it again. I speak my world into order. Let it rise through you like a sunrise breaking through fog. Let it echo through the walls of every forgotten part of you, because what you say consistently becomes law, and your word, when practiced, does not return void. It returns fulfilled. It returns transformed. It returns with everything that was once lost. This is not the end. It is the beginning of conscious command, and the soul that repeats truth becomes the architect of miracles. There is a gate in the unseen, not made of stone or metal, but of frequency, of command, and it does not swing open by accident. It waits for one thing, the voice of its rightful owner. You. The one who was born not only to witness miracles but to call them forward, not to chase life but to command alignment. Because your word is not noise, it is law, it is blueprint, it is spiritual legislation written in invisible ink. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that man's word is his wand, but few ever realize how powerful that wand is, and even fewer are willing to wield it daily, because to speak is to risk. To decree is to surrender the illusion of control. To command is to believe that the invisible world is listening, and it is. Your word governs your world, not someday. Not once you're healed. Now. You are not waiting for permission. You are remembering inheritance. You are not trying to impress the universe. You are reminding it of your authority, because only one voice can open the golden gate, and that voice is yours. When you speak from soul, the fabric of life rearranges, timelines fold, delay dissolves, provision awakens. Your decree becomes the echo that shifts reality. Say this with me now. I speak, I realign, I receive. Again, I speak, I realign, I receive. Feel how the words land in your chest, how your posture shifts, how your atmosphere changes, because you are not begging for life to be kind. You are instructing it to return to order. This is not ego, this is alignment. Your voice is the key to the vault, the passcode to destiny, the sacred sound that opens what cannot be forced by effort. Visualize it now, a golden door, suspended in radiant space. No hinges, no locks. No handle. Only one rule governs it. It opens when it hears your truth, not doubt, not delay, but decree. Say this. My decree opens divine doors. My decree opens divine doors. Now speak it again, not as a request, but as a remembrance. The moment your voice touches the frequency of trust, you'll hear the shift, a soft click, a rush of wind, and the door opens wide, not by force, but by knowing, because heaven responds to identity, not to desperation. And your word, spoken in faith, is the signature of your soul. It is time to stop treating your voice like a whisper. It is time to stop letting fear write your lines. You are the scriptwriter of your experience, and silence, though sacred, must be broken by command. Say it again. I speak, I realign, I receive. Say it for your past. Say it for the version of you who never knew they had power. Say it for the future self, waiting on the other side of obedience, because when you speak, what God already wrote into your DNA, time bows, lack flees, the crooked is made straight doors, once sealed by generational fear, fall open. Not because you pushed, but because you remembered. This is not just a message, it is a moment of charge, of divine assignment, of sacred awakening. Do not leave this day silent. Do not let another sunset pass with your voice unused. This is your hour to activate, to speak from alignment, to decree from authority, to govern your world through words. So, I ask you now, will you whisper your way through life, or will you speak and watch the golden gate open? The choice is yours. But know this, the universe does not move by chance, it moves by command, by the sound of your divine name spoken through faith-filled decree. This is how you rise, not by effort alone, but by expression. So let your voice write your future, let your word become your law, and let your law become your freedom. Say it one final time. I speak, I realign, I receive, my decree opens divine doors. Now breathe, not as one waiting, but as one ready to walk through. The gate has heard you, and it is already opening. Your word governs your world. Speak it, live it, watch it manifest.